The Raptors make it 3 in a row as they beat the Indiana Pacers for the second time in less than a week. 97-94 is your final. Welcome to the virtual version of Raptors Night Cap. I'm Randy Urban, and tonight joined by Paul Jones, Sherman Hamilton, and the coach Jack Armstrong. Let's get right into it, guys. Jack, let's talk about the defense first. Pacers didn't score more than 25 in any of the quarters, except for that late fury in the fourth. Made it 28 in the fourth. But just assess Toronto's defense tonight.
This was one of those games, kind of like how the NBA is looking lately, where they're letting you play a little bit more. The level of physicality is a lot higher. And I just thought they really brought a great deal of intensity when they had to do it on the perimeter, turning Indiana over, winning some loose ball battles, doing a good job on the offensive glass as well. But, the fact that you have Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby, and those guys log major minutes, they understand what the expectation is from Nick Nurse. And then it kind of filters through the rest of the roster. And I tell you what, like Gary Trent had a tough game offensively, but late he came on strong, but his defense was tough. I thought Mykhailiuk was really good tonight. And then, you look at a kid like Scottie Barnes. I mean, he's unfazed by the whole experience right now. He's just doing it, man. He's just getting it done. So it's a lot of fun. But that was a game on a back-to-back. A lot of it just comes down to your will. And the Raptors, to their credit, had a tremendous drive and character and pop tonight.
Yeah, sure. Just going back to what Jack was saying about Scottie Barnes, I know it feels like we talk about him every show because we should be. He's playing that well. Yeah. And the thing that stands out for me is that it doesn't matter who's guarding him. He just does not care that there's a two-time All-Star in the other way. Sabonis, who's a big man, who can score, who can defend. He just goes right at these guys.
Yeah, the guy just plays, and he plays with that no fear attitude. And, you love that about the young man. And he's, as Jack said, he's unfazed in situations. I mean, you look at the free throws, end of the game. Those were pure free throws. There was nothing that was questionable about those shots. And Scottie Barnes has shown that he's a confident player. He's a very skilled player. He's a very smart basketball player. And he's tough. He's got all the elements you want in terms of the mental makeup of a player that can be successful. So to me, I think that he's been put in all these situations so early in his career, and he's passed with flying colors. So I think we're seeing the making of a guy whose confidence isn't going to be shaken, even at points where he's not playing the best. And he's going to have that. As a rookie, he's going to go through phases where he's not playing as well as he wants to play. But what we know is he's got confidence in his ability. And I tell you what, that's as good as gold when you talk about young players trying to figure out their way.
Jonesy, what did you make of his play? I mean, it felt like a quiet 21 in a way, but Sherm's right. Those are huge free throws.
To echo what both Sherm and Jack said, the ability to make the right play, the timing, we were talking off camera. He misses a shot. He's not running back on defense like, I need transition. Hey, wait a minute. I'm getting that thing and putting it back in. He's taking mid-range jumpers, not afraid to take threes, passing the ball the right way. And when Indiana scored and they pressured up, I think there were probably 7 people below the free throw line after they cut it to 1. And Gary Trent Jr., oftentimes you beat that over the top. Scottie Barnes presented himself. He didn't run from the ball. He wasn't afraid, came back to get it, was a confident ball handler, and was turning to go, and they fouled him. So just the awareness, the basketball, acumen and the acuity to understand what is needed at the right time. And that's something that it goes part and parcel. It goes hand in hand with the ability. You can't make a play unless you sense the right time and understand what needs to be done. So high praise for the young men. And as both these guys have said, it's not going to be 100%. There's going to be some slip ups here and there, but I don't think he'll ever shy away from the moment.
Jack, you mentioned Mykhailiuk in your opening remarks there, and I want to get more in depth on him because, we talk about this when teams are on the road. You got to hang around, right? You're just hanging around. I thought the Raptors' moment of hanging around was in that second quarter, and they only really hung around because of the play of Mykhailiuk. Just Why was he so effective tonight?
Well, I like what I seen from him from the preseason. He is relentless. He plays with a good motor. He can shoot the ball. He's scrappy. He can put the ball down on the floor and get to the basket. He's constantly attacking the defense. He's an aggressive guy. He's got size. He's 6'7". And how about that move to his left and then the dunk was fabulous in the open court. So he's got some pop in his game and some athleticism in his game. So to me, Gary Trent really struggled early in the game. So to get something out of that off guard spot, and again, Nick Nurse is one of those guys that instills confidence. And I think they've given him a shot every night. And I think this is one of those nights where that confidence is rewarded. You look at a guy like Banton going out there again tonight. I think they're building a good level of not only self-confidence as players individually, but more importantly, collectively, the fact that they've won 3 games in a row now. And they start this, this stretch here, the next 2 at New York, at Washington, and they go in with a winning record. They got to feel really good about themselves, and good for them.
Jack, to your point about the confidence of Mykhailiuk and as a veteran player, I mean, he's been on a few teams around the league, and he says, like, we're kind of young. It's the back-to-back. He recognizes the moment, like, okay, this is my time. I can do some damage tonight. I can help us out. I'm not the guy that gets to drive all the time, but tonight I'll drive the bus for a little just so you guys can take a break. I'm going to help us tonight. And I thought his feel for the game tonight and coming in and being aggressive and knowing that, hey, Indiana played last night too, and they might be a step slow. And I thought he did a great job of taking advantage and just giving the Raptors enough in that time when he was on the floor to help propel them to the win.
We'll get to Sherm when he comes back to us. We just lost him, it seems like. This is technology right now, but we'll get him in there. So, Jack, I'll ask you Sherm's question. I thought Boucher had a bounce-back game last time, and it seemed like he built on that a little bit tonight. The Raptors really need him to be effective this season, right?
Yeah. I mean, a few things that he brings you. Obviously, he can shoot the ball from 3. He gives you shot blocking. He's got length. He can go get it on the glass. He's going to have issues. There was that one block out. I was laughing when he was trying to engage with Sabonis. I mean, he had no chance. But my point is, he's trying. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be nights, there's going to be plays within a game that he's just outmatched. But when you get him in spots on the floor where, draw and kick and you throw it out to him, he's a very confident shooter. He's got length. He'll shoot over the top. And again, I think Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby in particular, and we'll see this when Siakam comes back, those guys look for him. They trust him. They believe in him. And they know, because they play with him, that he's cold-blooded and that he has confidence and that he'll take big shots and he doesn't shy away from the moment. So he's starting to rev up again, which is nice.
Jonesy, I thought Kem Birch gave him some nice minutes too.
Yeah, he did. And, it was a tough night for Precious. And, Nick realized that, didn't, a great feel for it, didn't want to ride him or, have stuff go wrong. And then it saps more of his confidence. It's like, okay, we've given you a couple shots. It's not happening tonight. No big deal. We got other guys we can go to. That's what team's all about. I thought Birch did a nice job finishing around the basket. Kem is he's like a steady old man kind of veteran, right? Mm-hmm. Like he was used to playing a certain way in Orlando. They had him in this box, in this role. And then he comes to Toronto last year in that kind of crazy season. And Nick says, welcome in. And by the way, that box that they had you in, rip it up, throw it away. Don't worry about that. We'll give you a new one. We'll find out. It'll be bigger. It'll be better. Get rid of it. And so and remember, he's coming back from COVID too. He's not 100%. So he'll play his way into better shape. But it's like he kind of went back into that box tonight. Here's what I do. Here's what I do well. I'm going to do it because it's going to help us win. The rebounding, quarterbacking in the high post, the offensive putbacks, hanging around the hoop to keep possessions alive, just simplifying and consolidating his game, and it really added to the victory.
Sherm, welcome back.
Hey, by the way, I think everything everybody said was bang on.
I appreciate that. Don't make me laugh.
Even what Randy said, Sherm.
Wow.
Sherm,
I plead
said.
the fifth on Randy. Plead the fifth on Randy.
Sherm, last question. I'll get your reaction, even though I don't want to.
Do your job, boy. Do your job.
No, like this is a good win for the Raptors, right? Because it's tough to beat a team twice in the same week in the NBA, right? There's just that little extra energy, little extra incentive from the other team, and then you're on the road. So I think this is a good win for the Raptors. Is it safe to say that they're learning how to win, or is it too early?
No, I think it's safe to say that. Look, you look at the Orlando game. I thought it was a station-to-station game where they had to play possession basketball. Your turn, our turn, because they didn't get the transition opportunities that they were used to getting earlier in the season. Then you look at tonight where, you're kind of sludging in mud. Nobody really has any pop to their game. And they found a way to win a game on the road like that. So I think it's very important that if they want to have a successful season, that they figure out different ways to win basketball games. And the last two nights have proven that. So they're growing, they're understanding. And listen, they don't even have arguably their best player in Pascal Siakam on the floor. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of growth that's happening right now. And it's important growth because now guys are developing confidence and understanding that they can be a part of this. They know how to fit in. And they're getting the reps that are necessary. And when Pascal comes back, he's going to take some of those reps away from players, and rightfully so. But I think right now, the way they're winning, the different styles that they're learning to win with are going to bode well throughout the rest of the season.
All right, guys, good stuff as always. Have to stop you there. Next game for the Raptors, Monday night against the Knicks in New York, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will see you then.